I just pulled up to the job site. It's raining, and since I'm building this house on my days off, I need to make sure every day I work on something that I'm off from work. And I need to get the dormers done, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to go inside the house and set up a mock roof so I can get those dormers built. So let me show you what's doing outside. All right, if you look there, it's raining, but that's where the dormers are going, and I'm going to be setting up that mock roof the same pitch of what you see here. We're going to get it done. If you're new to this channel, my name's Josh. This channel is all about building your own house and saving a ton of money, so be sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video, and let's do this and smash the like button. All right, so I went ahead and prefabbed a little fake roof here, and it's nothing fancy, but all you need is just the angles and the mocking of the roof, so that way you can pretend you're working outside. When it's like this and rainy and nasty, you don't want to be up on that roof because you will fall. So I'm going to turn the camera around here and show you how I set up this little mock roof. All right, so the first thing I did was just took my speed square. I put a 712 on here using the speed square, and I just kind of eyeballed it to the edge of the wall just to get a rough start. And then I tacked it to the wall, came down here, used my framing square to double check, and to double check, I just slid it over till there was a 7 on the fake rafter here, the mock rafter I should say, and then the 12 was down there. It's hard to see, but it's a 7/12 pitch, just like up on the roof. What I did was come up here and I put a board up here level with the mock rafter here, and then I just went ahead and measured over 4 foot, set this, and then I just went ahead and took a 4 foot sheet of plywood, laid on it. So that's my little mock roof. It only took me about, I don't know, 15 minutes to build. I just want to let you know these are dummy dormers, so they're not functional, meaning they're not going to let light in the house or anything like that. They're just for looks from the exterior. So the first thing you need to do is determine the width and height of your dormer. And in this case, I'm doing 40 inches wide because the window that's going in it is 24 inches. So if I do 40 inches, that gives me 8 inches on each side, which is pretty comfortable. So if you look here, here's my first board I cut. It's 40 inches long. It's the exact width of the dormer I want to build. And what I do next is get the center. I marked the center, went 12 inches each way to get 24 inches total. Here's the edge, and here's the other edge of the actual window opening. And then there's going to be a 2x4 on each end. So that's going to be my bottom plate of the dormer of the face. So now I want to show you the mock roof and what you do next. So the first thing you need to do is take your bottom plate, lay it up on the roof, wherever you're going to be building it. And now you want to measure the distance down from the top of the roof to the edge of this plate here. You can either bevel this, but I like to use this method. It gives me 1.75 inches. So what you need to do is cut out a piece of sheathing that's going to make up the face of your dormer. So I'll show you. Here's the piece of sheathing. This is going to be the actual face of the dormer. That's what it's going to look like. And it's important to go ahead and make this so that way you know exactly what you're going to be framing against. Again, so you can visualize a little easier. Because that 1.75 inch difference, I had to take it off the framing in order to get a true 48 to the top of this. So if you see, there's an 1.75 inch difference down there between here and here. And why that's important is, let me show you. Here's my first stud in the dormer. To get to the top of that plywood, I had to take the 1.75 inch off of 48. So it's going to set like that, flush with the edge of that board, and then that plywood's going to overhang and hit that roof like that. Here's that bottom plate that was on the mock roof. And then if you look here, I made a line on my piece of plywood where that bottom plate is, and then I measured from this bottom line up to the very peak here. So that's how I got the distance for these studs. And if you look at these studs, we put a 7/12 since we're building a 7/12 roof. And if you look over here, we put a 30-degree bevel for the roof because that's where it's going to cross on that slope. So the easiest way to do that in bulk is to set up a miter box with your 30-degree marks on it. So, and then you look here, here's the rough opening for our window, rough opening for the window nailers. These are just the top and bottom parts of the windowsill. And then right here, we got our other 2 studs. And that was all pre-laid out on the piece of plywood before I cut any of those studs. So you want to make sure you cut your plywood, mark it where you want everything, your rough opening of your windows, and then you want to start cutting your studs, because trying to visualize all that is kind of tough, so you want to get it down on a piece of wood so it's easy to follow. I just want to give you a close-up look at this piece of plywood in the layout. So I measured up that 1 3/4 because that's where the bottom of the roof's going to hit, and that's where that bevel board or the board's going to sit sloped. Then I laid out each side of my window. First I measured to the center just like you would any other window opening. Then I got that, and you can see here I chalked a line measuring from this edge and this edge up here. So that's the edge of the window. And then I just marked the rough opening of the window just like you would any other wall. And then I cut the plate for that. And then up here, I'm going to have the ridge board come out past to support the overhang. So I got to cut this out yet. And then I just laid out where the overhang is going to be just so I can visualize what I got going on. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. And I'm not going to shoot this together yet, because I'm going to use this as a template, because I got to make 2 more dormers on top of this, because I love my wife so much because she wanted them. All right, if you look back there, I already got the bottom plates built for all 3, and all the window openings built too, as far as the blocks cut out for them. And now these more complicated pieces, I have them laid out, and I gotta cut 2 more of each one of these. So I have it laid out, it's organized, and now it's gonna be easy to just go through and build them. First thing I'm gonna do is turn the bevel on this saw to 30 degrees, because that's the same pitch as that 712 like I was telling you. My miter box blade isn't long enough to cut through. I'm going to have to finish it off with the Sawzall real quick. All right, so I got one with 2 712 angles on it, and now I'm going to cut 1 for each size of this one. You gotta use your thinking cap. Pay close attention to what you're doing, because it's easy to get these angles mixed up. Trust me, I did one earlier. That's one thing great about this template method. You can double check your work to make sure it's exactly matching the other one you built earlier.
I'm always losing my pencil.
All right, guys, looks like we've got a pile of pre-cut dormer faces right here. They're dummy dormer faces too, by the way. So we have them in each pile. They're all stacked, ready to go. So I'm going to shoot together one and show you what it's going to look like. And comment below if you think it turned out well or not. Something else you're going to have to do is put the layout for your window on these studs that are in the middle of the window. You can just refer to your plywood that you put the layout on. All right, guys, there it is. It's just sitting there. It's nice and plumb, just sitting there on its own. But you can see here, we're sitting against the roof, very nice. And this will get a ridge board that comes out probably about 10 inches or so. It's going to go back to this roof here. Of course, it's going to be up on the real roof. There's our window, rough framed, looking good. And what's going to happen here is that's actually going to be the top of the sheathing is going to sit right on that. And then our overhang is going to be nailed on the face here. And then obviously that's going to be holding the most weight. And then we'll have a ridge board coming over, or not a ridge board, but we'll have a board coming out here to support that overhang. But there it is. So that's the face, and I got to shoot together the next two. I'm going to do that real quick and then call it a day. And but yeah, it turned out all right. Can't complain. And let me know in the comments what you think of that bulk cutting situation. So this is going to be a series. So this is how to build a dormer part 1. There's going to be a part 2 and probably even a part 3. So be sure to hit the bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. And be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, peace.